Hauk. Oh my God. A certified health coach with the founder of Kylie's Health Haven.
Man, I'm gonna go have biggest and the largest pizza that I can find in the neighborhood and just eat it because I don't know the other ways around it. And,
I have a mystery with me. It's been many years since I was 5, 6. Right after I eat lunch, like after 10, 15 minutes, I'm dead. Like there's no going around that. Hussein can confirm. Um,
I can confirm. Like
I nearly
it's like
died
a weird.
back from
It's like
that.
abracadabra. No, wait, Laviosa.
Leviosa.
Laviosa. And all of a sudden he's out of commission.
What you eat affects your energy for sure because food, again, is so much more than fuel, but it is still fuel. Like it does everything that we need it to and more. But caffeine, you're already on the right track. You're seeing it as a tool and not a crutch. You recognize this kind of recurring habit and you want to make a shift. Absolutely. So mindful eating can be a weight loss tactic. I will never, ever, ever say that that is what you want to use it for because your eating habits and your food relationship should not just be about weight, or else you're going to be very, very disappointed when you still aren't eating in a way that serves you and supports you, and you still aren't happy with yourself or your body. But several of my clients have lost weight in the process because consumerism is so huge in our society. Like marketing is the branding is just insane. You can try to get all of the education that you want, but it's so drowned out by all of the noise from all of the fast foods, all of the big, like Coca-Cola and Doritos and all of these like big mainstream foods that are just shoveling in crap to make you honestly addicted to it.
as you were talking, Masudos kept messaging me said, "Oh man, this episode is fun." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I bring all the fun people, so I know."
We know how to have a good time here, and I know that that's the only reason I was brought on, not for my educational side, but because I can be
No,
silly and make
no,
laughing jokes and
no.
sarcastic and all the stuff.
All right. Welcome to Dentment, another episode of Dentment, the podcast where we dive into the business of transformation. Today's guest is Kylie Hauk. I hope I said that right. Hauk. Oh my God. A certified health coach with the founder of Kylie's Health Haven. She helps people break free from the food obsession, regain control, and build sustainable habits without restrictive diets. So Kylie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Fantastic. Excited to have you. Before we jump in, if you want to do a very short intro about who you are, your little journey. We love journeys here. And then I'll dive into questions. Masood's got questions and Dr. Oji's got questions, but let's start with you. Tell the audience a little bit about you.
Absolutely. So I was a social worker when I hit an insane amount of burnout and realized that it was time to change my life. I was 198 pounds. I was uncomfortable and I did not know what to do to make myself like myself, feel better mentally or physically, or just be the person I wanted to be in this world. And I ended up turning to the very toxic diet culture. I lost over 65 pounds. I hit my lowest weight. Wow. And I was honestly worse off because nutritional deficiencies, mental health was in the trash. Emotionally, I was just crying all the time. It was rough because no one actually taught me how to live. They just taught me how to shrink or how to restrict and diet. And so I found mindful eating and I never looked back. I decided to open my business to help other people because I don't want anyone else stuck in the shame and the guilt like I was.
All right. That's fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, guys, you can jump in and ask questions, but I'm going to start off with the first initial question, if you don't mind. That's about
Go for it.
It's about breaking the diet cycle. You've helped a lot of people obviously break free from the food rules, the various different food rules. What's the biggest mindset shift that they need to make?
I would probably say the all or nothing mindset is the thing that holds people back the most. They are bouncing from one extreme to another, kind of like they're on a seesaw. And it's, I have to do all of this right now perfectly, get everything right, or I have to completely give up, throw in the towel because one little thing falls off track, or I mess up, or I don't hit the PR, or I eat 10 extra calories and it's like, I'm dead. I've died. Why do I even bother trying? So, really allowing them to see that perfection is not possible, and it's all about just being human and accepting that we're gonna make mistakes, but it's just giving what you can in that moment rather than always at 100%, and showing them that they can navigate the middle and build consistency out of that to actually be successful has been the biggest thing to help break that cycle.
It's awesome. All right. Go for it, guys. Questions. Dr. Oji.
That is fantastic. You know, I think before we hopped on, we were just kind of talking about, as somebody that, practice dentistry day in, day out, and I think sometimes I find myself, the food is the way out for me when I get stressed out. I mean, sometimes during lunch, I had a rough morning and I'm like, man, I'm gonna go have biggest and the largest pizza that I can find in the neighborhood and just eat it because I don't know the other ways around it. And that's really, I think it's one of the challenges is that I think what I want to know is that how do you find the ways to really like tell, like in your own mind, to be able to say, I am stressed out and I have to find a different way to manage that stress and not really think about the food in a way to address that stress. So, what do you think are the key component that you tell somebody, hey, you need to change your mindset so that the food is not the answer to that stress?
So food is very much something we use to fill a void. It's so easy. It's like a low-hanging fruit. It's available to us all the time, easily accessible. And I actually talked about this recently with one of my clients about how as children when we're sick, a lot of times our parents are they're making us soup, they're bringing us crackers, they're bringing us Sprite, they're trying to make us feel better and comforted with even just these little things. And so it's like a learned behavior that we create, that we use as we become adults, that if we feel bad, we want to have that kind of nurturing support that we are so familiar with. So when we get into those moments, it's really about being vulnerable and being curious. We have to be willing to ask ourselves the questions about what's really going on underneath the surface. Because, yeah, stressed, absolutely, it happens to the best of us. But what's causing your stress? Because a lot of times we think it's, oh, I just like had a hectic day, or I had an argument with my spouse, or my kids yelling at me, or work's busy, something. But there's so much more to it. Maybe you had an argument with your spouse and it's because of something that happened like a year ago that just still sits in your guys' relationship and you haven't talked through it. Or maybe at work you lost one of your best employees and you're trying to fill that position. And so you're just trying to constantly remain stable while also trying to find someone that would be a really great coworker. If you don't deal with that and allow yourself to accept that it's okay that you're stressed, but we have to figure out why, you're going to continue to feel that void. And then if you judge yourself with that curiosity, you don't allow yourself to accept that things are hard, you don't offer yourself compassion and support, the food is going to try to fill that for you. So you have to really talk to yourself like you would a friend, a family member, and just allow yourself to enter into like almost a minute of sulk. You're allowed to be sad and feel that sad, but you also have to understand that life goes on, time keeps moving. So how are you going to pick yourself up and how are you going to take care of this without just filling it like you fill your stomach?
Yeah, that's amazing. Go ahead, Master.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Kylie, thank you so much. It's actually very good that we have you here because last night I had some hamburger and my stomach started feeling funny, so I don't really know what's going on. I mean, I have to take more care of my diet, but I have a mystery with me. It's been many years since I was 5'6". Right after I eat lunch, like after 10-15 minutes, I'm dead.
Mm.
Like there's no going around that. Hussein can confirm. Um,
I can confirm. Like
I nearly
it's like
died
a
of
weird. It's
lack
like
of
it's like
metabolism.
abracadabra. No, wait, Laviosa.
Leviosa.
Laviosa, and all of a sudden he's out of commission.
Okay, so you hit like a slump right after you eat lunch, and it's like you need a nap almost, like a carb coma kind of thing.
I don't need it. I just go into now.
You just go into a nap no matter what.
I just automatically.
Kylie,
Okay.
let me tell you something. This is not a Masood problem. That's a Persian Iranian people problem.
Okay, then I have two questions because maybe this is part of a culture thing. Like, what do you usually have for breakfast, and do you drink a lot of coffee or caffeine?
Yes, I need to. Without drinking caffeine, my day doesn't start.
Okay.
Don't skip the first question though, there, Masood.
What about breakfast? Do you eat breakfast?
Sometimes I do. Usually I don't.
Okay. So I'm not gonna lie, that is a very big culprit to this. If you are either in survival mode, like your body is completely shut down, just has nothing to feed off of for energy, it is going to be exhausted very easily. And if you are also just like grabbing carb heavy foods, like based on some lunches that people grab. A lot of times it's sandwiches. I don't know what your lunch typically is, but if it's like pizza or sandwiches and you have that on an empty stomach, you're going to hit that crash because you're not having a lot of protein, you're not having fiber, you're not getting any healthy fats in there, and you need to have a diverse amount of a diverse nutritional plate, but also your body is going to overcompensate a little bit. Like when you are in survival mode because you haven't eaten and you've gone out without food for too long, there is this urge to eat. And so when you eat, you'll eat fast and you won't give yourself a chance to actually digest the food or process any of the food. So your stomach is having a hard time working through everything that just hit it. And then all the energy that you have is going to go into your stomach. It's not going to be there to help you take on the day.
Okay, that makes so much sense, and I think
Yeah.
most of it's because of that energy. Because even after I have breakfast, then still same thing happens. Like anytime I have food, I have to go to sleep.
Do you
Like
sleep
it
well at
always.
night?
Sorry?
Do you sleep well at night?
Yeah, I do. I do. I don't have any sleeping problems or insomnia, anything.
How long do you sleep?
Normal, healthy kid. Sorry?
How long do you sleep?
Usually 7 to 8 hours.
Okay. And when you eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, how long are you taking to eat your meal?
I'm a very slow eater. Like, bring me the slowest eaters in the world and I'll still beat them.
Interesting. Okay. And last question, how many meals do you eat? Like, do you only eat three or do you snack a little bit throughout the day?
I usually have three. Yeah.
Three meals, just like the basic breakfast, lunch, dinner.
No, breakfast I usually skip it, but I have lunch, something in the evening, and then
And you want to fall asleep after the lunch, this first dinner, and then the second dinner every time? Oh, I'm sorry. Is that me? I can't hear him.
oh
He's
Okay.
yeah. I said the snack is right after I wake up, so I don't sleep again.
So
That
you
just
don't sleep again.
yeah, after the snack, after the evening one. Sorry,
Does
but
that
by the
keep
way,
you
we can.
awake?
Sorry.
I'm so interested.
Okay, that's great. That's great because I thought maybe this not this into
No,
a
this is good. When you have the snack, are you tired after the snack?
No, because I just woke up.
What do you eat for your snack?
Um, it's a very wide variety. Like sometimes I just have a coffee and a muffin. Sometimes I don't know. It could be the leftovers from my lunch. It's a wide variety. Like there's not one specific thing that I have.
Honestly, I might consider getting your blood sugar checked.
blood sugar, but
Hmm.
isn't that it doesn't that change all the time?
So, yeah, it's going to change based on when you eat and when you are not eating. Like, you have a fasting level, you have a before meals, after meals, and a bedtime. But if like your insulin levels and your cortisol levels, if everything is like just jumping back and forth, your body is going to try to keep you more stable and it's going to try to preserve your energy. And it's not going to be able to keep up with those constant bounces. So, you're going to feel exhausted. So, there may be something where you're not processing insulin as well as you may be able to, or maybe some of the foods they just don't digest well with your body, or your body's like fighting them. So it's making you a little bit tired. But a lot of people who do watch their blood sugar, they need to eat more often throughout the day, like every 2 to 3 hours, so that they don't have those kinds of crashes. So I may see if you can get your blood work done.
Okay, can you write me prescription and where do I pay?
Yeah, where do you pay? Venmo me. Then I'll send it to you.
Well, thank you so much, Kylie. So what are the next steps for me? I firstly need to get, is it something serious? Like how much time have I got left?
Oh my gosh, no, you're not dying. You're okay.
Give it 6 months. Give it
Yeah,
six
you
months.
you maybe have a week. I would honestly just spend all your money, go jump out of a plane, and you can give to the poor. Hi, poor. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
yeah. That's definitely one of the things I really want to do if I have 1 week. Another thing I really want to do if I have 1 week left is to run away from the police. That's one of the best things I really want to do. Only if I have 1 week left. Kind of like
You're gonna
recent
spend
time.
some time in jail if you get caught.
That'll only be a week, you know?
Yeah, your last days? Tough.
Anyways, that's great. Thank you so much, Kylie. So, I really most probably be the problem.
I You never know. A lot of hormone fluctuations can be it too, but I feel like the blood sugar and maybe even getting your hormone levels checked or your vitamins to see if you have any vitamin deficiencies, that can be beneficial too. Like I would just kind of go in and see, hey, these are my symptoms. Can I get some blood done? What would you recommend?
Also, why don't you listen to me, man? I've been telling you, you need a girlfriend, bro.
Mr. Mila, we will talk about that later.
He said, not an open camera.
Hey,
Jesus.
at least I got a doctor in my name. I'm prescribing you. What's your solution?
Dr. Mila, it surprised me.
Well, Kylie, getting back
It's
to the,
difficult to make love.
getting,
You guys continue.
well, Kylie, I wanted to ask you. I think you talked about the. Now you made me lost my track of my thought. But no, Kylie, like, you were talking about the caffeine, and I think one of the challenges for me as a dentist is even today, like I was so tired that I was like, oh, I have to go. And I drink a lot of coffee through the day just to be able to keep up. But then you get 5, 6 o'clock, you come home, and now you're starting to crash off of that coffee. I want to know, like, how can I personally, like, find the balance of, like, okay, I don't need the coffee, but I can still have the energy.
Mm.
Uh, do you think that there are alternatives to not really having to rely on that caffeine through the day to have the energy? And do you think that what you eat also affects how your energy level is?
Yes, all of the things. I have all of the things. Yes, it does affect your energy. What you eat affects your energy for sure because food, again, is so much more than fuel, but it is still fuel. Like it does everything that we need it to and more. But caffeine, you're already on the right track. You're seeing it as a tool and not a crutch. You recognize this kind of recurring habit and you want to make a shift. That's huge. And you don't have to cut it all out right away. You can still have a little bit of it, especially if you like the taste, but finding ways to support like your natural energy first is going to be a really big thing. And my mind automatically goes to water. A lot of people will, well, their brain for a lot of people will mistake dehydration for fatigue. So a lot of times when we aren't grabbing that cup of water before coffee, or we aren't kind of doing it when we go to a bar, like make sure you, for every shot you have a glass of water kind of thing. If you're not doing that with coffee too, you're going to notice that there is a big crash. And when you are drinking coffee, I I'm guilty of this sometimes, but that first cup, we don't want it before the first hour of us waking up because that will spike our cortisol levels if we have it within that first hour. And then that's going to start that whole blood sugar thing that we were just talking about where it spikes and then it falls down. So giving your body also a chance to get some water in and wake up, that's going to be helpful. And I don't know how late in the day you're drinking caffeine, but a lot of people say don't have any after 2 p.m. I am very much a 6 hours before bed, like absolutely not. Sometimes I will have a coffee at 2 and I'll be okay. It really just depends on the person. And then back to the food piece. For the like protein, fiber, and healthy fats that I was talking about earlier, that's going to be a big thing too. Like having that kind of meal in the morning. Of course, carbs are amazing. Absolutely enjoy your carbs. I always have oats or bread with my breakfast, but I also have something else. Like look at eggs with an avocado, look at some peanut butter with a banana, add something else to make it delicious and nutritious.
That's amazing. Kylie, before now, just kind of to go back to that very similar thing is like, as you know, we have a long hours, we work long hours, and
Mm,
sometimes even me myself, I run into the issue where I'm like 7:30 in the morning, I'm driving to work, I don't really get a chance to like eat breakfast,
mm,
and then I get to lunch, I'm like super hungry. Now I'm like, okay, I gotta go eat pizza, I gotta go eat carb, I gotta eat something to fill me in.
mm.
But then I just want to know, how do you manage to eat, like if you're skipping a meal, how do you go back and really manage to eat healthy enough that you're not just overeating in that one setting, that you're almost like sacrificing your body because you're skipping a meal. So how do you
Yeah.
like manage that?
I think a lot of it is understanding that you don't need to be reactive in your eating habits because when we're that hungry and we skipped a meal, we're honestly just going to be in. I have to get it in. I have to get it in as fast as I can. I have to get in whatever I can that's going to give me energy because our body is like, it's deprived, it's craving food. So we really need to look at how we're presenting ourselves with the food and make eating a little bit more like strategic. So like even if you only have 5 minutes, like in between patients, I hope that you're giving yourself a 30-minute lunch. But even if it is like a very like short-term thing, see if you can give yourself a moment just to like sit with the food, look at it, and just take a deep breath. Like it sounds so silly, but almost grounding yourself in the moment to realize food is not going anywhere. It's right on the table. I have the time. I can eat it. And if I eat it faster, not only am I not really going to taste it, is it going to be hard on my digestive system? And is it going to make me feel like crap for the rest of the day? But also, I'm not going to feel satisfied, which is half the battle of people when they're eating. They are full, but they're not satisfied. So they still think they're hungry, but it's a mental hunger. So if you can give yourself a chance to really check in, embrace your senses, and maybe even grab like a snack or two that's an easy on the go snack so that if you are running out the door and you don't have time for breakfast, maybe you just have like a box of granola bars in your front seat so that you do have something on your way to work that's super easy and can hold you off a little bit. I used to do on-call shifts at the emergency room, and that was my saving grace. Anytime I was in there for an extra amount of time, I would just go run out to my car so I knew I had something.
I like that. I'm a big proponent of one small change, one simple change. But
Mm.
before we jump into that and I ask that question, I'm going to do a little bit of blurb in terms of our sponsorship. So this particular episode has been brought to you by Allo AI, the AI receptionist for dental offices with service in 23 languages, where we have zero hold times, zero voicemails, and you get direct appointments directly on your PMS. So I understand that piques some of your curiosity, listeners. So reach out to aloeai.ca. We'll have a link in the description. And now back to our regularly broadcast channel. So, if someone is listening and is somewhat overwhelmed and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm there's so many things I got to do," or whatever. What's one small step that they can take today? It doesn't overwhelm them. What is your tip, Kylie?
Yes, because a lot of this does feel overwhelming. So honestly, and it's something I already said, just pause and breathe. It's so simple to just allow yourself to regain that control, regain that choice, and set those intentions. And you can't do that unless you separate yourself from the automated habit or from the coping mechanism that you felt was like helping you, but it's really been hindering you. So the next time that you eat, it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It can literally be dinner, dessert, snack. I don't care. The next time that you eat, just pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, am I really hungry? Do I really want this? Is this really what my body is asking for? Am I present? Am I actually going to enjoy this experience? Ask yourself anything that's going to help you really hone in to the fact that you're about to eat and it's you that is in charge and you getting to make the ultimate choice about what happens next.
Good question. It's a very good timing that you're here. We're right now in the middle of the fasting month for many Muslims across the world. I know you wanted to talk about this, so yeah, what do you think about it? Is it good? Is it bad? Some people are against it. I used to do it myself, like back when I was, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, but then it's been about 5, 6 years that I'm not doing it. But actually, to get back to my rituals, me and a bunch of my friends, we're gonna do it again on Saturday, this coming Saturday. We're gonna be fasting, which very nostalgic for us because that's what we were grown up with. Basically, that's what our families taught us. So, what's your take on it,
This is Ramadan, right?
Ramadan?
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I actually have a couple friends who are actual health coaches that do participate. And I am not a labeler. I will never tell you if something is good or bad, right or wrong, because first off, that's not my job. I'm not you. I don't know what is right or wrong for you or good or bad for you.
If we get
Second,
into religious stuff, like, I'm not religious, so
oh,
just from the health stuff,
yeah, exactly. Your body is going to be the one that tells you everything that you need to know. So whether it was like the religious cultural base or whether it was food and either fasting or not fasting, you need to tune in and listen to what your body is telling you. If you feel that you are able to sustain something like that, if you feel like that is offering you some kind of detoxification, if you feel like that is something that you can plan and prep for and you are able to eat enough food to suffice yourself in the hours that are allotted and you aren't struggling throughout the day, then why not? At least try it and see what happens if it's something that's really important to you and it's aligned with your values. But if it's not working, it's okay. If you are judging yourself for it not working and punishing yourself and being mad about it, that's when there's something that needs to be changed. Because the actions aren't as bad as the way that you're treating yourself over them, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. At the end of the day, it's your body, your choice. So
Mm-hmm.
if you decide to eat, you eat. If you don't, you just don't. But what's that language that you said? Like, what is it? What's the language of your body? How does it talk to you?
So, oh, this is fun. Okay. When you tune into your body, honestly, it's kind of different for everybody. Like some people will focus on their like hunger fullness scales where they can almost track to see how close they are to when they get full or how long they have until they're hungry again. And they can like number it as if it was like a scale of 1 to 10. Some people are more of a feeling where it's like they are starting to feel a little bit of a lack of energy or they hear like a grumble in their tummy and they're more like kid-like with it, and they're just like, I can just sense it because my body is like trying to tell me something, like how babies would cry when they were hungry and they would push the bottle away when they were full. It's like they go back to that old school, just natural form of listening in to what your stomach or your brain is telling you. And then some people, for me, it takes a little bit more just because I pushed it away for so long. I really have to prompt myself with questions. I have to actively ask myself throughout the day, are you hungry? What are you hungry for? Does this sound good? Maybe it's like, I just ate an hour ago and I feel like I'm hungry, but I'm not sure if it was because I just saw some random thing on Amazon that offered me like this huge bag of granola bars for like $2, or if I'm actually hungry. And so I have to be like, okay, so you just ate. Usually we're not this hungry at this point, so maybe it was because of something we saw. That's okay. Like maybe you go grab a little something, have a snack, see how you feel after a few minutes, or are you dehydrated? Like, have you had any water? And just really play that curiosity question game and allow yourself to answer without judgment, and then take some trial and error in that process. You're not going to know the answer right off the bat if you've never done that before. So you might have to go grab a piece of food, see if that did anything or if that made it worse, unfortunately.
And is it any good for like people who are kind of obese and they try to use it as a tool to lose weight?
Absolutely. So mindful eating can be a weight loss tactic. I will never, ever, ever say that that is what you want to use it for, because your eating habits and your food relationship should not just be about weight, or else you're going to be very, very disappointed when you still aren't eating in a way that serves you and supports you, and you still aren't happy with yourself or your body. But several of my clients have lost weight in the process using mindful eating because they're not overeating when they are present and engaged in actually enjoying their food, and not holding themselves to this like strict plan where they have these trigger foods that they can't eat. Like they're just allowing themselves to eat whatever they want. They don't crave it as much anymore.
Hmm. Interesting. And is it true that they say when you see your loved ones, you get hungry?
Ooh, I actually haven't heard that before. Is that really a thing?
No,
Why are
I
you laughing?
it up, but I
Is
think
that a Persian, like a Persian, what do you call it, proverb? Because I haven't
no,
heard of
Proverb?
it either. Yeah, like a proverb. Is it like a Iranian thing?
no, I literally just made it up. But I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay.
On something. He was like, you are pulling this out of your butt. Let me see what she's got. Oh my gosh. That is funny.
Because in a serious sense, my so my I've got a 13-year-old boy, and uh, when his mom was going through pregnancy, I ate. I mean, like I went like I was fat. I gained, I don't know how much. I just, anything that was there, she's like, let's eat. I'm like, okay. And I would double eat. And I gained a significant amount of weight. So that's a thing, right? That's not a myth. That's a thing.
It is a thing, but it's actually different. So
Okay.
we, as just like a community, just as humans, we often mimic others because we want to make them feel comfortable. And so
Right.
we don't notice when we're doing this, but a lot of times, like especially when you go out to eat and you start matching the pace of someone, or they order something and they ask, I want a drink, are you going to get a drink? And you almost feel like you have to do that and match their energy.
Got it. Okay.
We do that when we're in an environment stuck with someone all the time, especially when we care deeply for them and they are so vulnerable in that state with her being pregnant. You want to make sure that she does not feel embarrassed or uncomfortable for being hungry yet again. So you just eat with her to make sure she feels good.
So to summarize, I was being a good guy. Yeah.
You
That's
are
good. That's
being
good.
the best, to summarize.
Oh God. Okay. All right. All right. Doctor, your turn.
Kylie, I wanted to ask you. So, actually, before I got into dental school, I went through a stage in my life where I was having a lot of like joint pain, and I end up like doing a lot of research, and I found a guy out in Australia, and I found out that I had a very minor rheumatoid arthritis at a young age, And what I found, when I spoke to the gentleman out in Australia, because I didn't want to take any medication, I was like, I'm not taking medication. I'm going to figure it out. And I actually realized a lot of it was food related. And that was a time when I just kind of said, hey, I'm going to stop. He's like, hey, you got to cut out meat. You got to go vegan. You got to go plant-based because a lot of the food that you're eating is causing you inflammation. Uh, how true? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, as soon as I changed my diet, my body just, my pain went away, my inflammation went away. I mean, my body is back to normal. All my blood tests is normal. I wanted to know what are some of the. Do you see people that relate the food to the inflammation in their body? And what is your process on that? What is your thinking on that?
Yes, I have seen this several times. A lot of my clients have chronic pain and they have used food as an escape to make them feel better when it's really making them feel worse because it is causing that inflammation. And I implement that shift in your eating habits in my plan if that's something that you're looking to do where you are wanting to eat more anti-inflammatory foods. But I focus very much on it doesn't mean that you are reducing and cutting out everything. It just means that we are slowly integrating and adding in more whole foods, more nutrient dense foods to your everyday routine so that you can see how you're starting to feel better. And a lot of people, once they do start to feel better and they notice that, it shifts their mindset from, oh my gosh, I have to eat this because I have to like feel good and that sucks and I have to change my diet to, I want to feel good and the foods that I have found are helping me do that. And I have found ways to make them taste really good and enjoy them. So I want to do what's best for my body and make myself feel my best. So then they start to really want to eat in that way. And I have actually created a list for some of my clients that gives them some foods that they can rely on as like a really good, just like backup plan to easily implement into their day if they are. I'm not a meal planner, but if they are scared and they don't know what to pick, this is just like an easy to follow guide. But I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat since 2014 because my body doesn't digest meat very well. And I do also personally agree that the inflammation was a big thing. Plus, I'm lactose intolerant. And I found that out about 3 years ago. So I also don't eat dairy anymore. And a lot of that process is really just figuring out what works for your body and what doesn't.
So no eat for 10 years.
Uh,
That's
yep.
impressive. Wow. Like any meat and meat products or just okay. Okay.
Yeah, so no meat. I had eggs every once in a while. I would kind of bounce back and forth based on my energy levels if I felt like my omegas were really struggling.
Right.
But generally, I would prefer to not do that just because
Okay.
I it's still a
Respect.
little animal.
No, hey, respect. That's a significant amount of time. On a similar level, I again, this is when I was married. There was a certain time that my ex-wife was uh, practicing what's called being an ethical carnivore. So she would still eat, but it was selective and it was far less. And I practiced by, process of diffusion. I tried the same thing, and I realized the less, I was eating bacon like every Saturday, Sunday, Monday, saving the fat and cooking other things with it. And I realized like you gain a lot of weight and you can't run. And so I shortened that and I just started feeling a lot better. Like there was still meat, but it was just less meat. Um, yeah, I completely see where you're going with that. The whole meat not making, like again, in Iranian culture, like Dr. Milad can vouch for this. We have a lot of meat in our food, like lamb this and even breakfast kelle pache, which is all meat. It's challenging to do that with certain kinds of cuisine, but it isn't impossible, is what you're saying.
Yes. There are There are things that you can implement that can give you the same kind of texture. They can kind of soak up sauces in the same way. They can pair well with a lot of different flavors, but sometimes people want that specific taste and they can't always find it, especially if they're not willing to do the trial and error. Bacon, for example, that used to be my favorite meat, and just last year, so it took me 11 years to find a bacon alternative that tasted like bacon, and I actually almost fooled my boyfriend, and it was actually made out of mushrooms.
Yes. So, along that line, what is your professional opinion or perspective on the Beyond Meats and the Impossible? What are your thoughts there? What do you think?
Oh
No?
my gosh, no. Okay, so I
Okay.
hate the Beyond Burgers and the Impossible Meat, like those specific products. They are filled with just a lot of fake ingredients, a lot of
Mm.
preservatives. They're not anything that is whole food based. So most people who do not want to eat meat anymore are doing it because they know that it's not serving their body, the meat that they're eating, or the way that it's cooked, or the way that it's processed, and then they're just taking some new random product that's still not very well created, like it's been very heavily modified, and then they're just replacing it. They're not making a change in regards to taking away all of the processed crap out of their diet and actually implementing more whole foods. So I have found a lot of different alternatives, but you have to read the back of packages. If it's not just saying like a bunch of different like lentils and chickpeas and quinoa and vegetables that are like creating this burger, it's just some crap that they found in the back. That's a bunch of soy.
Mhm. That's amazing. So, Kylie, the one thing that me and you have in common, I actually been on a plant-based diet for the past 15 years. Uh, yeah, I don't eat meat, so that's probably Hussein is pretty shocked on that one because I typically don't tell people that I'm plant-based. Yeah, in Iranian culture, we eat a lot of meat, but the one thing I tell you is, when I left Iran in 97 and I came to US in 2003. And I found that when I transitioned to US, the food here just didn't set well with me at all. I think that just the way the system, the food is being processed, the meat is processed, everything else. I think the people that transition here, some people just the food doesn't sell well with them, and I think that was one of the main reasons that I end up getting my arthritis is because of that, because I was just the food wasn't sitting well and all that. So yeah, I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy. I'm very like very aware of what I eat in a sense. But I do, my the thing that I can't give up is my pasta. Man. I love my pasta, so that's probably my guilty pleasure.
I freaking love pasta. Do you use nutritional yeast to have that like cheesy flavor? Yeah, you do with the cashews. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's my guilty pleasure, man. I'm just like, I try to stay away from, you know, like I said, I can feel my body almost. It's like it's so amazing. Like when I was even in dental school, I used to tell my classmates, and they couldn't believe me. Like when I would eat something that my body just didn't like or it didn't set well, I could almost feel my body would get like this tingling sensation, that I'm like, oh man, my body didn't like what I just ate. And
Mhm.
it's so amazing that people to this day, even so, as a practicing dentist, I tell patients, I'm like, what you're putting in your body is direct related to everything else that's happening to you. Patient coming with high blood pressure, they're coming with diabetes, they're coming with everything else. I'm like, dude, you can't have diabetes and come in with a this giant of a Coke in your hand and want me to do a treatment. I'm like, it doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
so I think there's a lot of, especially I as somebody that moved to the U.S. I think that U.S. like you said, the accessibility to the food is our biggest trap because people have so much access to the food, but the food that we have access to is not the best. It's just like, so I think that's one thing. Why do you think that is the case? Because I think, like I said, in the US, I found it that to be that way because I travel to other countries. I am from a different country. Why do you think that the US doesn't promote more of a healthy eating and they promote more of like, let's go to Chick-fil-A and Taco Bell and Burger King? Like, why do you think that is? Because, I mean, when I was in New York, I used to always make fun. I told you I'm from New York, so I went to City University in New York in Brooklyn. There was a Popeyes like right across from my school, and they used to put a sign outside. One of our meal is 2,500 calorie a day, and that's your max. And people are shoving their face with these Popeyes, and I'm like, why do you think that is? Like, do you think it's a lack of education, or do you think people just don't care?
Honestly, neither. I think it's because consumerism is so huge in our society. Like, marketing is the branding is just insane. You can try to get all of the education that you want, but it's so drowned out by all of the noise from all of the fast foods, all of the big, like Coca-Cola and Doritos and all of these like big mainstream foods that are just shoveling in crap to make you honestly addicted to it. Like a lot of the brands of food that are not allowed in other countries that are like legitimately illegal. I think Captain Crunch, like the berry Captain Crunch or something, is not allowed in parts of Europe because of the red food dyes and stuff. They create this so that visually it is appealing to you, so that the crunch, so that the way it soaks in the milk, like they test every little thing to make it so desirable. We crave money here while other countries actually crave health. Also, most of those countries, they have free healthcare. They make money off of us when we're sick. So why wouldn't they make us sick?
Yeah, that's very true. That is absolutely true. But going back to like asking you about, just saying like for example, the patients come in, and you're seeing patients with certain eating habit and things like that. The one thing I wanted to ask you was, I mean, that's just for me to know as a practitioner is like, what are certain techniques that, for example, I could teach my own patient to say, hey, you have to find a way to reduce certain craving, especially for sugar, for example, because as you know, the sugar has the most impact on the teeth. It causes a lot of issues. It promotes some of your bad bacteria in the mouth. So, what do you think are certain like mindful eating techniques that can help with that? I can kind of.
You might. You're talking bad behind Sugar's, in front of Sugar's back. It's my friend. But okay, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead,
No,
Kylie.
I love sugar. I have dark chocolate every single night. I do not go without dark chocolate. But the reason that I don't have any cavities and that my dentist doesn't get mad at me is because I have learned to implement it without overdoing it. So when we are constantly feeling bad and feeling ashamed and feeling guilty of the sugar because we hear sugar is bad, you shouldn't have that, it's ruining your teeth, for example, things like that, it's gonna be like the kid who sees the cookie jar that's been put away above the refrigerator and it's like, but I want the cookies. Like, give me the cookies. We're craving it more. So when we allow ourselves to have it and we take it off the pedestal and make it less of like a special little treat, we are less likely to overdo it.
Right.
And part of that process is also actually being present and enjoying it while you're eating it and not just thinking about how you shouldn't be having it while you're eating it and how bad you are for eating it. So when you are having this piece of chocolate, really allow all of your senses to come into play. Chew it really slowly. Allow yourself to completely like crush that piece up, whatever it is, so that your body can digest it. Because actually, the faster we eat, the less saliva we're making, and then we don't have that acid that's going to protect our teeth from decay. So there are a couple ways, either allowing it more in your life so that you don't want it as much, or just chewing it a little bit slower so that you don't eat as much and you're still trying to protect your teeth but still having sugar. Because I'll never say don't eat sugar. I eat sugar.
That's a really good point. You see, when I was a kid, we didn't have, cookie jars and stuff. We had cookie that was hidden, and we weren't, and this is something maybe the two of you guys would, after somebody visited your house, there's a whole bunch of stuff like ajil and cookies and sweets all over, and you're like eating all of it before your parents take it away. My house was kind of like that, so I changed it when I became a dad, and I'm like, I have a cookie jar, and it's got a whole bunch of cookies, and it's sitting like right here where my son can actually see it. And every Friday when he comes over, like he can have as many as he's want. Like I've had conversations with him. He's 13. I've had conversations with him to make sure, don't eat like the whole jar, but you can eat as many as you like. That's perfectly fine. But just, take your time and have some tea. So that's a very good point. I like that. Enjoy eating it. Don't put it away. Don't put it aside. That's really cool. That's good advice.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of like it's my job, right?
It's like as if it's like as
Well,
as if like an expert or something.
I know, Kylie, not talking about you don't have any calories. Open your mouth. Let me see them teeth.
I will do it. I have one fake tooth right here, and it's because I had a botched root canal. I almost had sepsis. They had to take that tooth out. It was crazy. That one's not my fault. Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
it was bad. I said my tooth is sad apparently when I was all drugged up and I saw all the blackness that they gave me when they tried to give me my tooth. I was like, my tooth was sad. I'm adorable, guys, and I have great teeth.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, let me be the judge of that.
I'm ready. Send me your address.
I
I'm
want,
popping in.
Kylie, I want to see your X-rays, Kylie.
I'll have my girlfriend Kamal text you, and she'll be like, "Okay, so here's the deal. Here's all of her levels and her measurements. I just went through her teeth today."
We'll take your word for it. We'll trust you.
Kylie, Dr. Millet, he's been seeing us for almost every day for the last 6 to 7 months, and he's never made any comments about our teeth. So there should be something off, probably.
He doesn't care about you guys like he cares about me.
Yeah, maybe that could be too. He doesn't care as much.
It's that. I know. It's fine.
Actually, you're not pretty enough.
Yeah, I wasn't lucky enough to be that pretty. And he doesn't look at the insides. He's always kind of like the outside guy. But anyways, Riley, sorry, I had to hop off real quick. Some emergency happened. I had to deal with it.
Is everything okay?
I had a follow-up question with what I asked.
Yeah.
The thing that I said, that when you see your loved ones, you get hungry, that's not true. But when you're eating with your loved ones, you eat more. That is pretty much the same thing, right?
Kind of. So a little bit about the mimicking, but also food is very much about connection, which is why it's not just fuel. You build true connection and relationships often with food. You go out for a date, you go to dinner, you go out over to like your family's house for a holiday. You have a huge smorgasbord of food surrounding you. You go to a work event, there's usually a buffet. Everything that has to do with human connection and bonding seems to revolve around food. Birthday parties, birthday cake, Halloween, candy, like it's just constant. So there's no wonder that you're going to eat more because you're enjoying people so much that you forget to be present in the food, but you can actually do both and you can do it more enjoyably.
That's very true. At most Persian house, most Iranian houses, the conversations that happen is usually in the kitchen, not in the living or dining room. Usually it's around the kitchen. And there's always conversation that's being had, even if it has to separate. But yeah. That's
A
a good
big
point.
rule of thumb for me, anytime I am in an environment where it's food and people, I never hold on to my silverware or I never hold on to the food if it's like a handheld food. Every time I take a bite, I sit either the silverware or the piece of food like pizza, burger, sandwich, whatever it is, down so that I actively know that I'm chewing. I don't have anything in my hands. There's not just like an automation of, oh yeah, that's great, tell me more kind of thing. You have to think about the fact that you're gonna make another bite, you're gonna get another spoonful, you're gonna pick it up again. So it's not so mindless.
That's good. I like the concept of. This past year, I've been trying to do the whole mindfulness exercises with a coach, but mindful eating is a new concept for myself. Just kind of saying it out there. Okay. If you guys don't have questions, I got one last question or one more question.
I
Go
got
ahead.
a question. Now that
Masood, go.
now that we're talking
Hey,
about food, what's your favorite
Masood,
food?
Masood, you
What?
keep saying you have questions. Maybe you want to ask for her Venmo and pay her for her time first, and then ask questions. I'm kidding.
Sorry, what was that? I just pretend like I didn't hear that.
What was your question?
Yeah, what's your favorite food? Now that we're
My
talking.
favorite food?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is so tough because I want to say chocolate, but I can't eat chocolate for the rest of my life. And when someone says that, I think of like I am on an island, deserted island kind of food. And it's bagels and cream cheese, and I can't even eat regular cream cheese. So like the vegan cream cheese, but like you could have any kind of bagel you want. You could have a breakfast bagel or a meal bagel or a dessert bagel, and all the different cream cheeses, like there's so much variety. And I love bread, and that just I could eat a bagel right now.
That's good.
You just like bread?
Kylie, Kylie, as we're getting more and more into this conversation, me and you have a lot in common. It's weird.
Are we the same person?
I know, that's what I was about to say. Oh my
So
God, I love bagel, I love cream cheese, I love bread, I love pasta.
pasta. So
Pasta.
once you guys get the chance to come to Vancouver, there is a place that I just found out about maybe about a year ago. There's a new restaurant. In this restaurant, they make 6 different pastas. They are famous for one of them, but there's a specific one that's the carbonara. It's a typical carbonara. I love carbonaras, but they make theirs a little differently. And me and my son were sitting there watching the guy as he made the carbonara, but then he does have the ability to change the ingredients so that it's vegan. Um, and it is, I've tried replicating, I've documented exactly how his technique is. I am not kidding. I've written it down, but I cannot replicate their technique because they're just really good at the process. It's the entire technique, but the pasta is just amazing. So once you guys are here, we're going to go to that pasta place. I'm going to sit you down. We're going to have that pasta. It's going to be fantastic.
Are you buying?
It'll be on me 100%, 100%,
All
100%.
right, I guess I'll come.
100%. Excellent.
Well, Kylie, as always, thank you so much. We don't want to take any more of your time. I truly appreciate how kind you are. Me and Kylie, we met on LinkedIn and we talk on LinkedIn. You're so open-minded to have a conversation with a weird guy like me. But everybody says my LinkedIn profile picture is too intimidating. So the fact that you took a chance at me, that's a good thing.
I'm actually about to go look at your LinkedIn profile because I don't even know if I paid attention. Oh my gosh. I actually had someone today, funny enough, I had someone today message me and ask me if I could send him a picture. And I said, why don't you just go check out my profile? Like, stop being creepy. I have never, it's not, you look like you're smart. Like, you just look intellectual in this picture. But you're in like a ball cap right now with a collar. I mean, it's throwing off the vibe, I will say that.
That's just for show.
Sure.
This is real.
You're not really a doctor.
Yeah. I
Let
actually
me
made
go
this
check,
comment
let me go
about.
check my degree.
Proof.
Yeah, Masud, when we were announcing the release of Dance Man and we were working on it, in his post on LinkedIn, he said he thought for the first 6 months that I was a fake dentist. So
Oh
he
my
didn't
gosh.
believe I was a doctor.
Not even your friends believe you, and I'm just over here like, yeah, he's a doctor. Cool. Never even met him. I'll just believe whatever I read.
Uh, Well, the last time I checked, I got my degree from United States at Roseman University, but I'll double check it again.
Grr.
Well, Kylie, thank you so
Appreciate it.
much. I really appreciate you coming on here. You're so fun. We had fun. And as you were talking, Masters keep messaging me, said, "Oh man, this episode is fun." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I bring all the fun people, so I know."
We know how to have a good time here, and I know that
Yes.
that's the only reason I was brought on, not for my educational side, but because I can be
No,
silly and make
no,
laughing jokes and
no.
sarcastic and all the stuff.
No, no, you're absolutely. It's this conversation for me as a person. It's so important because I think a lot of the dentists, especially, I mean, not just dentists, but I talk to. I have friends that are heart surgeons, I have friends that are brain surgeons. I have friends that are in the medical industry, and the conversation. I mean, our conversation. That's why I was so fascinated about what you do because it's such an important topic, especially in our profession, because we truly do. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. I truly, some days I'm so stressed out that the only way that I can help that stress, it doesn't matter if I go out for a walk. It's just like for something in my mind just tells me, go eat something or like you know, go out for a fest, go like to a restaurant and just eat. So it's like, I don't know what it is, but it's truly something that, and we're not educated enough on it because they don't educate us on it. We don't know how to deal with those kind of things. So I think it's such an important conversation to have so that, especially the younger doctors that come out of dental school, they don't know any better. I mean, I have friends that they were in great shape when we were in the school. They come out of school and they get into the real world and they're so stressed out. Now they become overweight. They don't know what they're doing. Their mind is stressed, so they're eating. So I think what you're doing is absolutely such an important thing. So it's a game
Thank
changer
you.
for sure.
Very
So
much agree. Very much agree.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I could literally talk forever, but I won't. I understand that you guys also have a timeline.
we, hey, we
Awesome.
don't have a
Kylie,
timeline, but we gotta let you go anyway, Kylie.
absolutely. Kylie, appreciate it. This has been absolutely eye-opening. I know if anybody's curious, they can definitely reach out to you directly on LinkedIn, send you a message. Is that right?
Yes, and I also have a free beginner's guide to mindful eating, as well as a free 3-day launch for a challenge called my Lucky Charm Challenge. If anyone wants some practical tips for me to do that with them.
Love that. That's awesome. Great. That's it. That's the episode of Netman. If you enjoyed the conversation, subscribe, share, send it to your parents, do what you need to do. Plus, I don't know, maybe one of these. That's okay. But thanks everyone for joining. See you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Kylie. Thank you
you.
so much.
Cheers.
Yes.